All right, here we go, folks. Time for the big reveal. Y'all have heard me talk a lot over the years about white fear, what we are seeing in America right now. And it's not all white Americans. But what we have to understand that what is happening in America right now, this shifting of the demographics and this shifting of really this notion of what America is. Greg Hart talks about it all the time in terms of this settler. What's the phrase you use, Greg? Settler colony.
Yeah, settler colony turned to a settler state. That's right.
And folks don't quite understand, don't really sort of look at that. The reality is that America has been defined through a white prism. If you actually read history, white male prism, it was not supposed to be for Reese to be able to vote. Not because she's black, also because she's a woman. That was not. It was intended for folks who only owned land. That was how this was set up, okay? And so when you begin to look at what's happened in terms of these battles that we're having now, it's because we're seeing a redefining of what it means to be an American. And that's what's struggling with folks. And so when we talked about Colin Kaepernick, when he took a knee, okay, all the people like, man, that's not American. Actually, it is. The First Amendment is called the first for a reason. Guns were second, but the ability to be able to protest was first. So it wasn't him protesting. It was the fact that Colin Kaepernick simply did not grow up and completely suck in the notion that America is all about apple pie. It's all about a blonde, blue-eyed, buxom white woman as being the center of beauty in America. It wasn't about everything that is white is right, everything that black is bad. It's what it was about. And so what you're seeing now is this struggle because now black people and Latinos / Hispanics and Asians, Native Americans now get to actually have a say, and not just a say, now have power. And so this is not even directed at white conservatives. It's even directed at white liberals because many of them struggle with black folks having a seat at the table. Hollywood has a serious problem with that issue as well. And so all of this culminates, and this started, y'all, in 2009, there was a study that was done that asked the question, are you optimistic about the future of America for your children? And every group, blacks, Latinos, Asians, every group, a majority said yes. Only one group, less than a majority, said no. White Americans. In September 2016, the question was asked, are you optimistic about the future of America economically for the next 10 years? That was in 2016. Every group, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, majority says absolutely. Even though black people, lowest wealth in the country, had the highest optimism.
Wow.
Latinos, second lowest wealth, highest optimism. White Americans, greatest wealth in America, lowest optimism. So you got to say, hold up, how y'all got more money than everybody else, but you got less optimism than everybody else? Because they will have to share. Their children will now have to compete. You can't, everything is just not, I'm born, I'm white, I get the job. No, you got to present some credentials now, because you know what? The person who's deciding may not look like your daddy. That is the basis of the book that I have been speaking on, that has been cultivating here for the last 13 years. And this, you get to see for the first time, is the cover of this book called White Fear. White Fear, how the browning of America is making white folks lose their minds. Now, if you look at the image, there were a lot of images that we chose. We purposely chose an image of the January 6th insurrection. And you see that the guy in the foreground, You see how he has his hands wide open?
Yep.
The reason I chose that photo because, one, he symbolizes the notion of all of this is ours.
Woo.
That's why we chose that. And so Leah Lakins is a writer. It's funny, we were on the call and, because Leah normally is done, she's ghostwritten many other books. And I was like, no, you ain't gotta be no ghostwriter with me. I ain't scared to put your name on a book. And so she and I have been working on this for the past 2.5 years. Ben Bella Books is an independent publisher out of Dallas. That's who we're publishing this book with. And so it is going to drop September of this year. We're going through the editing process right now. And it's not a book, the book is not just speaking to white Americans. It's speaking to everyone because many of us, Reese, don't fully comprehend and understand. And keep in mind, folks, the other reason why this photo is chosen, remember, Donald Trump specifically targeted Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Milwaukee as the basis of his big lie that the election was rigged and stolen, and those are 4 black cities. Reese.
Well, first, let me say congratulations. And I think the cover is magnificent. I mean, what a brilliant encapsulation of really what white fear is. And not just white fear, but white lash, the backlash to what is inevitable that they will have to share. They're going to make it more difficult, and they're putting up a valiant fight to prevent that from happening, perhaps even this generation. But the demographics are not going to lie. It's not going to be something they can hold off forever. And so I think it's a really important piece of work. And I think we have to understand what we're up against, because I think a lot of people still feel like you can reason with them, you can appeal to some sort of shared humanity and shared sense of morals and character, and you can't. So the best thing that we can do is arm ourselves with the information. How do we maneuver around it? And I think that we're all mostly trained in that, because you have to do that to survive, and to really understand how we're going to come up with our game plan, how we're going to respond to this in a way that we can harness our power quicker, despite all of the roadblocks that they're going to put up. So congratulations again, Roland. I love it, love it, love it.
Faraji, first of all, Reese, I appreciate that, Faraji. We spend a lot of time on this, trying to walk people through this so they understand the dynamics here. And when we've been talking about these policy changes, making sure that they put on those young, white, right-wing conservatives on the Supreme Court. Do understand, Amy Coney Barrett is 49. Neil Gorsuch is 53. Kavanaugh is 55. Ginsburg was 87 when she died. Breyer is 82. So if you just say that, look, they serve 35 more years. Think about that. That means that Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett will be there 35 more years.
Damn.
2057.
Damn.
See, and people have to understand that's why Mitch McConnell was hell-bent on keeping those seats and getting them in, because they understand when you control the Supreme Court, they are the final arbiter of our laws.
That's right.
No, that's a big point. I'm so glad, Brother Roland, that you brought it up. First and foremost, of course, congratulations. I mean, I'm absolutely in love with the cover. I'm in love with with everything, like the title, the subtitle, and everything. It brings back to mind so many different books that I've come across, such as Death of the West. When you're talking about even White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, there's a number of books out there, and I'm so happy that you're putting this out there as a black man to talk about this, because a lot of those books are really to white people. Even though you said this is for everybody, I think it's absolutely important that we understand as black people the dynamics and the thinking, and which is really important. A couple of questions for you, Brother Roland, because folks have been asking on the YouTube chat. First, will we be able to pre-order the book?
Yeah,
that going to be available?
the book will be a pre-order. It's not available right now. They literally
Right.
just sent me the email today of the cover, and they said I can go ahead and post it. And so, soon as we do pre-order, we want to make that possible. And again, look, my goal, and when I look at all these books that are on the New York Times bestseller list and everything, you know, I want us to go hard and hit 50,000 pre-orders. I think when the 1619 Project, I think when they debuted #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, I think it was like 87,000 books that were sold that
Yeah.
first week. And so you know, with our fan base, you know, we want to go hard on Amazon's list, on New York Times bestsellers list, because let's be real clear, it's gonna be a whole bunch of mainstream media folk not trying to put me on their shows. You know, Fox News ain't gonna be calling,
No.
and we know CNN not gonna be calling, and so
Or MSNBC.
yeah, well, you know, but MSNBC, well, look, I got Ali Velshi will call me. I'll be on Tiffany Cross show next week. But again, it seems like the only time I appear on MSNBC is only on weekend shows. Ali Velshi, Tiffany Cross, Alex Witt. No other shows have invited me. I've never been on Joanne Reed's show. I've never been on Chris Hayes' show. I've never been on Rachel Maddow's show. Did Lawrence's show one time. And so I used to do the daytime shows, Morning Joe, Katie Tur, all those shows a lot. They don't call at all anymore, so I guess I'm only relegated to the weekend. But
Let me ask you, let me ask you this though, Brother Roland, and this is another question that popped up. You know, I mean, because books of this caliber, of this nature, of this content is such hotly contested, because we're in a time of critical race theory and everything else. You know, what's your take on, you know, presenting this book into certain parts of the country, your home state like Texas? Are you having like a plan of action?
we going
boycott you and all that?
No. I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about that at all.
I mean, I had to ask the question.
No, I ain't worried about that at all. Trust me, I plan on going back to my alma mater, the conservative Texas A&M University, and discussing this book. I plan on being on college campuses. Trust me, the Roll-Mobile is going to be on the road. We're going to be hitting places. Remember, we're also going to be involved in going to places during the election. So we're going to be on the road anyway, hitting these states. We're going to be doing that. But absolutely. And the thing that's been crazy about this process, Greg, is that this thing has been like, I've been amping to do it because every time something happened, White Fear kept showing. And even the publisher was like, okay, is another event. And I'm like, and it was a trip because when back in literally 2018, 19, 20, I kept saying, y'all, the book is playing out before our very eyes. Now, mind you, it's a whole bunch of publishing houses that passed on the book because they didn't see it. Ben Bella out of Dallas, they saw it. They believed in it. And we've already signed a deal with Audible as well. And the thing that people don't understand is that, I mean, it was literally happening in real time. And I kept saying, see, every time something happened, I was like, see, they were like, damn, we got to get the book out. And it was sort of like a new thing. And so when January 6th hit, we had to completely recalibrate the book because after that happened. And so so everything that we've been talking about on this show, on TV One, when I was on Tom Joyner, all these things are playing out, and the book lays this thing out and establishes that continuum from going back to, of course, slavery, Civil War, and how at every point Black success was always be followed by white backlash. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know, everything happens in divine order. I remember in 2010. Was it 2010 when you published the first with Third World Press?
Yes. 2010. The first President Barack Obama's road to the White House. Yep.
Yeah, and I think something that this book will share with the first is that it is being reported out by somebody who is in deep, immersive conversation, contact with, organizing with the people. And with all due respect to the New York Times bestseller list, we know that the books that are published by the Fox crew, Brian Kilmeade and them, that's propped up by billionaires and these
Yep.
same You know, the same kind of people that'll be trying to put money in McMichael's account in Georgia, which is why I'm glad the Georgia prosecutor filed that addition to sentencing saying, so y'all can't profit off y'all stuff. So we know where those numbers come from. And in the case of the 1619 Project and my friend Ibram Kendi's books and Robin DiAngelo and all those, we know that a lot of that sales is driven by, you know, white guilt and white folks who may use the books as furniture, to quote Dr. Ben Yosef Ben Yaakov. In fact, during the Reckoning summer, so many black bookstores shipped books or had books. White people bought books at the black bookstores, and the books literally sat in the bookstores, meaning they never even picked up the books. So we know that those numbers are driven. But your numbers will be driven by black people who are going to read and black people you've been talking to. And of course, Leah Lakins is a proven entity. She has a track record and a sister, black woman. And in partnership, you creating this is organic, meaning, you know, we have a saying in the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilizations, building for eternity. This is a slow build, and we're all going to push it. You know, the thing I do with Karen Hunter on narrative and on the weekends in class, we're going to hold that book up to the screen, and black people are going to read, and other people are going to read. They're going to read the book, and then that slow build continues to build momentum. And then I'll just end with the cover and add my congratulations to Reese and to Faraji. That cover is perfect, and one of the things that strikes me is the distribution of the flags, because what you didn't do is show the Confederate flag. There's an American flag on the Capitol. The guy's got his hands open. On the right, there are flags. Looks like one of them is upside down in distress. On the left, there are flags, and dead center is one with the 13 colonies. Meaning what?
Come on.
They think they're having a revolution. They are taking their country back. And guess what? There are plenty of people in that building they're looking at who are in absolute agreement with them because it's the same damn flag. That is a brilliant cover, brother. So we're looking forward to roll out White Fear. These numbers are gonna escalate and explode because they are real numbers, not inflated, invented numbers.
And we certainly gonna break that thing down as well. And so again, I will let y'all know when it's time to pre-order the book, but I wanted y'all to see first that cover. I haven't put it on social media. I'll do it after the show. I'll go ahead and post it. But I wanted the Roland Martin Unfiltered Black Star Network family to see it first. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches. I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?